Okay, so in this tutorial, we're going to go through the process on creating your basic character animations and then your sprite sheets. And I'm going to refresh your memory on the pen tool, if you want to use it, of course. Right, so everyone should already have a basic idea of the character. This is really rough basic idea, okay? Once you've done that, I will recommend that you refine your idea, use a bit clearer lines, see how it's looking. Does it look okay? Do you need to refine it some more? And then once you think you've somewhat have it, I will recommend that you split it up. So if you're not going to use the pen tool, I will recommend, right, let's separate each part. So have the chest, the arms, and this will allow you to animate it with more ease. So if we press Ctrl T, for example, remember to activate your ankle points, and then you can move it, and hopefully it will work. Just always remember how you're going to animate it. So for example, here you will need to break it on the knees so it will actually bend better. I'm going to do a quick refresher on how to do your pen tool. I've done another video about it, so if you need more information about it, just go there and look at it. Right. So we're going to go grab the pen tool. Make sure that we change from path to shape. Then we can turn off the field so we can see what we're doing. And let's do a quick test how big the line is. So it's a bit small, so let's make it maybe 2 so we can see it. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, quick introduction to pen tool. I normally like to use a pen tool. We also are going to be using the compare point tool. So the compare point tool is useful because you can, for example, click here, drag, and you get these two handles. If you want to move these handles, you can go here and press compare point tool, and you can see how you can change the handles and where they're going. I will also say, right, you're doing it and you don't want to go and click and change it every time. If you press Alt on your keyboard, you're going to see I can do the same thing, and you can see how my mouse changes. So very handy, okay? All right, let's go to a simple thing. So let's try to do this boot. So how I like to work is you're always going to do one click to start your curve. From there, you're going to go and follow the line. So I'm going to go here, quite simple straight line. And then in here it's kind of going up. So I'm going to click once, don't let go of my left mouse, and then I'm going to drag. And as you can see, it's going to give me a nice looking effect, like a curve. If you press Alt on your keyboard, you're going to be able to bring it down and closer to you. And the point is you always want to bring it closer so then you can do the next line. So let me do this next line to bring it close. Bit of an angle. See how my handle's going down? Can press Alt and move it closer, right? If you by any chance let go of the mouse, it's fine. You can always press Alt after it, and you can see I can move it again. And then you just repeat the process. If you messed up, you can always press Control Z and then go back. All right, I'm gonna go back here. Nice little angle. Maybe I can do it a bit more. There we go. Up, up, and then again. And you can see here when I'm gonna close it, it becomes a little circle. Yep. So just click on that and close it. Why we like this is because we can use the fill tool and do a quick fill of your work. This is going to allow us to just do your painting really quickly and not by hand, which will take you a lot longer. Right, you can also add your highlights after this, so you can create again. Press enter to go to a new curve. Let me go back to the pen tool, and this time I'm gonna go and change this again to nothing. I'm again on the shape 1, so make sure that you press enter. And then let's click again. So for example, like let's say the light's coming from this angle. So let's make a little highlight there, right? And I'm gonna bring it closer and go this way, round, up. And I'm not being precious about it. I'm just trying to do this for the exercise, okay? And let's say you've done it. Oh no, I cannot move that. you can always go to your direct selection tool or direct selection tool. Click on that and then just bring it closer to your leg and give it the effect you want. So for example, in here, I'm going to say, right, I want it to be white because that's the highlight. So let's go white. Or maybe we can go like a little gradient, which might be interesting. Okay. And then we can lower the opacity in your gradient, which might make it interesting. Same here. Oh. Okay. And don't forget to remove the stroke color. So it's just that. So now when you see, you have a nice little highlight and you can work on that as you see fit. Okay. So that's a really quick recap on your pen tool. Okay. Right, so you've split it, you've made all of your character, and somewhat it looks like this. Again, I'm not the greatest at creating 2D art, but here we are. So, important things that you need to do. When you create and bring your character, ensure that you're working by the power of 2, because this will make it easier when you're creating your sprites later on. So for example, an OK size will be 512 times 512 pixels. Make sure that you're working on 72 resolution since we're working on mostly digital, and then pixels per inch, not centimeters, or else your image is going to be massive. This will create a nice square image that you can work with. Okay. Once you've done all your pen tool, let's think about, right, how we're going to break this. And as you can see, I've broke it down per leg. So then you are able to bend your knees if you want to. I've not gone through the troubles in the arms, so it's going to be just straight movement on the arms. Then you got your neck. And then you got your head. Yep. So ensure that you got all of the neck. So I'm missing the shadow on the neck, so I'm going to bring that down. All right, I'm going to put this in a folder, and I'm going to call this neck. And as you can see, I have everything on separate layers to be able to animate it later. Okay. So that's the first thing that you need to do with your character. Just make sure that you split it apart. And we're going to call this frame underscore 1. Okay. Right, so we want to start animating. We are going to need our window and then timeline. Okay. And in here, you make sure that you don't click on video timeline. You want to click on frame animation. So just click on this little arrow and then frame animation. Then let's create one. So as you can see, it's going to create your character there. Right, another thing that we want to do to make our life easier to work. So we're going to convert them all into smart objects. So let's just right click, convert smart object, convert to smart object. Almost done. Right, so I have my whole character broken down. Make sure that everything's on the right size and location. So we got the head, the neck, chest, which is right. And then, do I want the neck to be underneath the chest? Yes. So we put the neck underneath the chest. Okay. Then forearms, back arm, then from leg, from lower leg, and then back leg, and then the lower part of the leg. So with this, it should be easier for us to animate. So let's go on. Let's say that we do a simple idle animation for us. Maybe 5 frames, 6 frames. So how we're going to do is we're going to set the first frame up. So let's say, right, I'm going to start it with this here. Fine. That's okay. So we're going to grab this frame and we're going to duplicate it. So grab it and duplicate it. Right, I can turn this frame off and turn the next one on. So right, on this frame, I'm going to say, right, I'm going to move my helmet down a little bit. So move tool, grab your helmet, and I can grab Control T. And let's say I'm just going to move it down a tiny bit. Really tiny bit. I'm going to move my chest down a tiny bit, my neck down a tiny bit. Okay, then the front arms can move to front leg, back leg. Maybe we will move the back leg, the bottom part of the leg. That will make it better. So we have second frame done, so we can rename this and call it frame 2. Right, so if we compare these two now, simple bit, yeah? And we're gonna carry on, so let's duplicate this now and go even further. So we're gonna move the helmet down a bit more. Control T, one down, and maybe we'll turn it slightly, okay? Then we're gonna go with this one, Control T, turn it slightly, right? Then neck might need to go down a tiny bit now, 1. And then you see my arrows to move up and down. Sometimes it makes your life easier. So this time maybe we're gonna move it like this. So can you see what's happening here? It's not moving where you want it to be. So can you see on the top here, you have like a little pointy where your pivot point of this is going to be, or your anchor point is going to be. So I'm going to move it where the shoulder is, where I want it to move from. And I'm going to move it maybe a bit forward. And then I'm going to do the same with the second arm, Control T to the top, and then down a bit. Then I'm going to go to my chest, and then maybe I'm going to move it down a bit more. And then let's do the same with the front leg. 1, 2, and then 1, 2, and then for example for the lower leg, I'm gonna grab my point. You can also grab it. I'm gonna put it here, right in the knee, and maybe this time I'm just gonna move it gently to one end. I'm gonna do the same with the other one, and to the top, and then gently move it. So if you want to see how your frame is going, I usually do this at the end, but you can do it now. So make sure that you turn this frame on. I'm gonna click on the next one, turn that frame, turn this one on, turn that off, turn this one on. So then when we look at this, you got a simple basic animation, okay? So let's say 3 trains is enough for your idle. Even though I said I was gonna do 5, but let's go with 3 for time's sake. Right, so how are we gonna make this fit into a sprite sheet? That's the first question. And do we want our character to be this big? So if we go, for example, to 100%, that's way massive. If you imagine the whole screen's gonna be your game. So how big do we really want it? 50, that's still big. 40, 25% maybe. So maybe at 128, that's gonna look okay. Okay, seems like a normal character could move around the screen. Okay, so let's go back. So for now, what I want you to do is make sure that you go to frame 1. Let's turn this off. Let's delete this layer, the background layer. We don't need it. Okay. What I want to do is go to frame 1 again. And in this frame, I'm going to create a new layer. Or you don't even have to create a new layer. Let's create adjustment layer. And I want it to be a solid color. And I'm going to make it white for the sake of it and put it on the right place. I'm going to duplicate that one. And I'm going to put it on the next one. And I'm going to duplicate that one. And I'm going to put it on the last frame. And I'll show you why I'm doing this in a minute. Okay. So let me turn this one on. Then this one all the way to the bottom. That looks better. And then this one, the same. Okay. So now I have my 3 frames. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make them smart objects. Also, don't forget to save while you are working. You don't want to lose your work. And as I explained before, let me make sure that this is frame 3. I got distracted for a minute. As I mentioned before in class, ensure that you're naming everything. And also make sure that everything's working right. Let's see, frame 1, let me turn it on and then save. Yes, so a smart object is like a container where you can put everything and it won't be damaged by anything that you do. For example, if let's say this one, I want to add a blur to the image, I can go filter, blur, And I can go Gaussian blur. I can increase it a bit. Yep, I've deleted my character. You think, oh no, it's gonna be destroyed. Nope, it's all here, and you can control how much of it by going back to it. Okay. You can always double click, go back to your filter that you did, and edit it. Right. So for now, I'm just gonna delete this Gaussian blur. Okay. Right, so let's go back to the sprite sheet. So let's say you got all your frames, you've done your 6 animations, so you're ready to move on. Okay. So we're gonna go and create a new image now. So remember, we're always working by the power of 2. So I'm gonna say 10, 24, 10, 24, and that will be my big sprite sheet. Okay. In here, remember, we wanna create a grid and actually also view the grid. So we go to view, we go to show, and then we go grid. It's going to show you grid. At the moment, it's on the wrong size. So to change that, we're going to go edit, preferences, and then guides, grids, and slices. Now it's open. In here, we're going to ensure that we're working on pixels. And we're going to make sure that this is 1. And this size, remember when we said earlier that I wanted about 25%? So I'm going to say 128 per each box. And I'm going to click OK. For you, it might be 64, or it might be 256. It depends on what you're working. But for me, this works. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the background. So click on that lock, and then make a new layer that's nothing on it. Right, next thing, I'm going to grab my animations, all 3 of them. I'm going to select them, and I'm going to drag them in. And the first thing we need to do, as you can see, is scale it. So if we press Control T again, let's see if I can do this and if it will work. If I go 25%, as we said earlier, hopefully it does fit on the square, can you see? And it makes your life easier because it's actually hitting and snap into the grid. Okay, so I'm going to press enter. So that's my character. And then I'm going to put them in order. So we know frame 1 is going to go first, frame 2. And remember, when you have the move tool and click on anything, it will tell you what frame you're working on. And then I'm going to go frame 3. The problem is, for your animations, you really don't want a background on it. So let's double click on your smart object. And this time, all we need to do is just turn off your color and then click save again. So that's 1. Let's do the next one. That's 2. And the last one. Okay, that's 3. There we go. So as you can see, we've aligned everything's right, and you have set up your simple animation for your idol. Remember, we want to fill the whole sheet if we can. Do not try to leave any empty spaces, or else you're going to be wasting memory on your engine, okay? And lastly, make sure again you save. And make sure that you put these frames, because I made 3 frames. This will be idle. Last thing, make sure when you save this, save it as, it won't work if we do that. We need to make sure that we go Control Alt S and make sure that we save it as, or save as copy. And you save it as a target file, so TGA. Okay, so we got the best quality possible. And then name it Sprite sheet, and then it could be character. And then just click save. Okay. Also, in here, let's say you've done your animation, you have animation, and you want to showcase it in your sketchbook. Please, when you're doing it, let me just create the animation very quickly. When you're doing this, make sure that you turn your background off. I'll do the same here. Okay, this one off. That's the last one. So we have all three, right? So 1, 2, 3. And if we want to export it, we're gonna go as a gift. We're gonna go File, Export, Save for Web Legacy, and ensure that you turn this off. So you don't want a white background, you want none. Or else what's gonna happen, you're gonna have a white background, a white outline around your character, which will make it look weird when you put it on your sketchbook. So just put none, and then you can save it, and it will allow you to move it anywhere in your sketchbook without having a nice white outline. There we go. So yeah, if you got any other questions, just message me and I'll be able to answer them for you. Thank you.